Hello, this is Odunlami of the Odunlami Law Firm, and I'm here this fine Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday. I want to come in real quick and just answer some questions. So we're going to be talking about conditional green cards today, okay? All right, so I'm going to wait to get more people in. So all of this that you see behind me, that's all snow. We had like 6 to 8 inches of snow, and we're getting more Tuesday and getting more Thursday. But today I want to come in so that we can talk about a topic that I get a lot of questions about. And I want to make sure that I think today's a good time as any because everyone's home. If you're in New Jersey, New York, I know you're snowed in. And even if you're not, you're waiting for the Super Bowl. So this is a good time to get started, okay? Like I said, my name is Odunlami. I'm an immigration lawyer in the Odunlami Law Firm here in New Jersey. My law firm's purpose is to show you how to get your green card and become a United States citizen, okay? My passion is immigration law. My purpose is to show you how to get your American dream. So we're going to talk about conditional green card. What is a conditional green card? A conditional green card is that green card you get through marriage when your marriage is 2 years or less. So what you get is called a temporary green card or a conditional green card. It's only good for 2 years. So you're supposed to remove the conditions 90 days before the green card expires. So a question I typically get is, how do I know if my card is a temporary green card or a conditional green card? Well, if you look at the green card, it's only good for 2 years. So it will give you a 2-year expiration. So if you have that, you know you have a temporary green card. And if your card is 10 years, then that's a permanent green card. So when you have a conditional green card, what you need to do is you need to remove the conditions on that green card 90 days before. And how do you do that? You're supposed to remove it jointly with your spouse, right? You file the Form I-751, and you submit the information you need to get your conditional green card, the conditions on the green card removed so that you get a permanent green card. Now, what is another question I have? What happens if your child also got the conditional green card through you? Your child also has to remove the conditions because that marriage, the conditional green card that he or she got was through marriage with the parent, okay? As a parent, you can also remove your child's conditional green card, okay? So we all know that sometimes happily ever after doesn't last, unfortunately. So if this is you, the question I get all the time is, what do I do? Well, you can remove the conditions on your green card through a waiver. There are 4 waivers, okay? The first, one waiver is divorce. The marriage didn't work out, so now you're divorced. So if you're divorced, what do? You check on the column where it says, you're filing under a waiver, and the waiver is divorce. So if you're divorced, you have to prove to USCIS that the marriage was a bona fide marriage, that it was entered into in good faith, and then you have to send them the divorce decree. Now, if the marriage ended or is going to end because of abuse or neglect, or your spouse is refusing to file to jointly remove the conditions with you, and the reason is because there's been abuse or extreme cruelty, or you're being badly treated in the relationship, in the marriage, there's also a waiver where you can remove the conditions without your spouse's help. So, but of course you have to detail the extreme cruelty or the bad treatment that you receive from your spouse. So that's number 2. Number 3 is extreme hardship. So if it would cause you extreme hardship to go back to your country, for instance, if you're in a country that is at war, and you can't go back because it will cost you extreme hardship to go back to that country, or for any other reason that equates to extreme hardship, that could be another reason to file under a waiver. And the 4th is death. If your U.S. citizen spouse dies, and you can go ahead and remove the conditions on your green card, because clearly the person is not available to do that for you, okay? So the most important thing in this documentation is you have to, in this kind of, in this forms, you have to provide the documentation. The most important thing is you have to prove in all circumstances that it was a bona fide marriage, right? Well, except for the extreme hardship. You have to show it was a bona fide marriage, and you have to submit evidence of a bona fide marriage, okay? So let me go through other questions that I get. One question that I get all the time is when the green card, the temporary green card expires. I have clients who call all the time, they're all panicked, and I tell them this: only an immigration judge can remove your green card status. Only an immigration judge. So if you haven't been before an immigration judge, if you're not in immigration proceedings, then what you have is an expired green card. And does that make life a little difficult? Yes, it does, because when your conditional green card expires, your driver's license expires. And even though you still have the green card status, it's hard for you to show that you have a green card, because what you have is it's hard for you to show your status because what you have is expired. So typically, what you're supposed to do is you have to put in the application, even if it's a little late. You need to put in the application as soon as possible so that you don't get what is called a notice to appear before immigration court, because that's the beginning of deportation proceedings, right? So when you file to remove the conditions on your green card, what you get is a receipt with an 18-month extension to your green card. That receipt, it's a 2-page letter with your expired green card, is your proof of your green card status, okay? So that 2-page document that you receive, or that your lawyer will send to you, because he or she would have received it, is a really important document, because that shows that you have a current green card, even though the card itself is expired, okay? All right, so now if you have to travel, I always recommend to my clients to get an InfoPass appointment so that they can get that stamped, their green card status stamped on their passport, okay? So even though if your green card is expired, it doesn't mean that you don't have a green card. It doesn't mean that you're going to be, your employer, you don't have the authority to work. You still do, but if you're going to look for a job, you can't prove that. So it's really important to note deadlines. You need to know when you need to file to remove your conditions from your green card, so that you're not in that situation where your driver's license is expired. You have to prove to your employer that you've put in your application and it's just, you're just waiting for it, okay? And most important, you don't want to get that NTA, the notice to appear in immigration court. So you need to do that as soon as possible. However, if you do get a notice to appear in immigration court, it's important for you to, contact an attorney so that they can assist you in, showing that you're still, you have your green card, and you're still in a valid marriage, or that you qualify under one of the 4 waivers, okay? So let's see. I'm going to look and see whatever other questions I get from clients. Now, another question that my clients ask me is, does the conditional green card count towards citizenship? Yes, it does. So when you have had your conditional green card for 2 years, right, you only have 1 more year to be able to you only have to have 3 years of residency to be able to apply for naturalization to get your American citizenship. So the 2 years as a conditional green card holder does count towards your citizenship application. And sometimes when my clients, by the time they apply and they get their, during the period when they're trying to get their conditions removed, when they hit year 3, even though the conditions have not been removed yet, we can go ahead and apply for naturalization, even though the conditions have not been removed, even though they're still waiting for USCIS determination on that. And so what generally happens is when they get called for the naturalization interview, USCIS will adjudicate the conditional removal at that time. Okay? All right. So let's see if I have any other questions. I'm looking through the list. I'm looking through this. I don't think I have anything listed. So if you have any questions, hit me with them. All right. I'm not seeing any questions, so I know everybody's getting ready for Super Bowl. I'm going to be getting ready myself with my family as well, but I wanted to get some information out there for anyone who is in this position where your conditional green card, it's time to remove the conditions, and you're wondering what to do. And for a lot of clients, if they're in a bad relationship, right, that spouse is not going to help you. And going for the interview is not really helpful, because if your spouse is not there with you, right, your application is going to be denied because it's the petition of your American spouse. So if you know that your U.S. citizen spouse is not being helpful and is not going to help you remove the conditions, is not going to jointly remove the conditions, the best thing for you to do is to file under a waiver. And you don't have to wait until the green card is ready to expire. Once you know there's been a break in that relationship, then it's time for you can put in the application, and your lawyer will tell you all the information you need to be able to file under a waiver, okay? Hi, Travia, how are you? All right, so the other thing is, sometimes we have people who are already in immigration proceedings, right? And they get nervous and they think that, they're going to be deported. There are many ways to get out of deportation proceedings, right? If you have a conditional green card. So the most important thing for you to do is to get a lawyer. Now I have Okbe Adebanwo asking this question. Please, attorney, what happens and how do you know an appeal is allowed/approved for I-130 appeals? Now, Okbe, this question you've asked, I don't have enough information because I need to get more information. Why are you appealing? So I'm going to ask you to call my office because I need to get more information to be able to assist you. And you don't want to put all your business out on a live because anybody could be watching it, okay? My office number is 973-993-1900, okay? All right. So let me think what else with regards to the conditional green card. Now, some people get divorced while their green card is still in the conditional green card status, and they want to know, can they remarry? Yes, you can. You still have to, of course you can remarry because divorce is part of, is one of the waivers, right? But like I said, you have to show as a bona fide marriage, and if your spouse has filed for somebody in the past, you have to know that those marriages that immigration processes were put in place, they're always going to be scrutinized. Okay, so even if you decide not to file a waiver for some reason and you get married to a U.S. citizen, your U.S. citizen spouse, the new U.S. citizen spouse, can file another application for you. But the previous application is still going to be under scrutiny because they want to make sure that it wasn't a sham marriage, because entering into a sham marriage is a no-no. It's a permanent bar against getting immigration benefits. So you really want to be careful about that, okay? It's always a good idea to, reach out to an attorney so that the attorney knows the specific situation you are in, and they can advise you as to what you should be doing or what you should be looking out for, because this live or any attorney has does not take the place of a proper consultation. Okay, so does anybody else have any questions? I'm not seeing any questions. I'm going to give a couple minutes and then I will get off. Maybe we can talk about what constitutes abuse, extreme cruelty, bad behavior where you have to file under the waiver of abuse. That could be, it could be emotional abuse, it could be psychological abuse. If you have a spouse who's threatening you, threatening not to show up for the interview because they know that this is important to you, and they using your immigration status as a leverage to getting things they want, whether it's money or just controlling you, that's abuse. If you're in a relationship where your spouse is hitting you, of course that's abuse. But I want you to know that it doesn't have to be physical abuse for it to rise to the level of abuse, right? Okay, it could be verbal. When your spouse is calling you names and, embarrassing you in front of people, putting you down, it could be verbal. It could be financial. I have a lot of clients who say that because their spouse knows that the immigration papers are so important to them, they threaten them, if you get paid, you must give me the money that you're making because I'm the reason you're able to work. It's because I filed for you that you are in America and you're working, so therefore you owe me. That's abuse, that's financial abuse. Or if your spouse is taking money from your account, not putting money in, and you have no say over it and no control because they know that they can threaten you with your immigration status. They'll call ICE, or they won't show up for the interview. Or another one is they make you pay for things that you don't want to pay for, and you feel like you have no control over it, right? Or another example of financial abuse, let me think, it's when they don't let you go to work. They want you to stay home, and they want you to, they don't want you to go to school. They don't want you to get educated because they feel that if you get a job or if you get more education, you're going to leave them. So they put pressure on you to do exactly what they want you to do because they feel that without them, you can't get this green card. That's abuse, right? Right. And also, if they force you to go to work, they stop working. I have clients whose spouses, as soon as their intending immigrant spouse gets a work permit, they're like, okay, then I'm done. I'm not working anymore. You pay the bills. I'm going to do what I need to do. And, you should be able to handle the house because now you're working and you owe me. That's financial abuse, right? And it could also be sexual. And there's the different types of sexual abuse. It doesn't have to be just rape. Rape, of course, is sexual abuse because rape is still abuse and is still criminal. Just because you're married to somebody does not give you an entitlement to their body, okay? So if your spouse is forcing you to have sex or forcing you into certain sexual activities that you don't want to be a part of, such as watching pornography or other types of intimacies that you don't want to be a part of, or that you're not maybe at that time you don't want to do, that's sexual abuse. I also have some clients who complain about their spouses forcing them to, telling them that they have to have sex on their own timetable, or withdrawing sex from them, withdrawing affection, that's, sexual abuse, or making them feel bad about their bodies, this is too big, that is too small, or calling them, accusing them of cheating constantly, so that they're not, wanting to take your phone. They want to see who you're calling, and they keep you away from your family, from your friends. You can only interact with people that they want you to interact with. That's abuse, okay? So there can be psychological abuse where the spouse is receiving documents from USCIS, but it's not showing you because it's all part of control. You don't know what's going on in the documents that they filed for you, or they're destroying your papers and destroying paperwork that would help you to show a bona fide marriage. Sometimes, like, they might destroy the wedding pictures. They may destroy pictures where both of you are together with family and friends, just destroy them so that you don't have proof that it's a bona fide marriage. Or they could refuse to file taxes with you, or they can refuse to put you on the lease, or refuse to have joint utilities with you so that you don't have any proof that there's been commingling of funds or that you've lived together as a couple, okay? So those, there are many ways that you can show abuse, and these are just some of it. But the important thing is, if you're not in a relationship where you're being treated well, then it's likely it's abuse. I would like to hear your story and be able to screen you for that. I had a client whose spouse was quote unquote really nice, that's what my client called him, because he would, pay for her to, go certain places, but he wouldn't allow her to drive, wouldn't allow her to meet up with friends, wouldn't allow her to be away. I mean, the control was the abuse. So even if the spouse is taking care of the finances and is not forcing you to go out there and work and is not doing all of that stuff, the fact that they are controlling your movements, controlling who you have access to, right, is abuse. So there are different types of abuse, and you want to, and for some of us, culturally, we may not consider that abuse because that's maybe we're from a society where it's okay, but you want to know what USCIS considers to be abuse, okay? So, I know many people are eager to go watch the Super Bowl, and I am eager to go eat. So I'm going to sign off because I don't see any questions. Let's see. Let me go through real quick. And see. Julio Vite says, is Biden helping the DACA recipients? Of course, DACA is back, Julio. So you can file new DACA applications. So DACA is back, and that's worth celebrating. And another thing that the Biden administration has done, which I really like, is they're changing the term illegal immigrants to non-citizen. That's what they want to do, and that makes so much sense. Nobody should be called an alien. Aliens are for people in outer space. So we're happy about that. It may be a little thing, but it's important not to call people illegal aliens or even legal aliens. Nobody's an alien, all right? So, all right, Travia says, having an attorney gives confidence and peace of mind through the complex immigration process. And that is true. The immigration process is really complex. In the past 4 years, it has changed. It changed a lot. It's going to change again because the Biden administration is really looking to put the face of humanity in immigration laws. Of course, America still has immigration laws which make it really quite, it's not always easy to get your papers. However, the important thing is we want it to be fair, we want there to be due process, and we want people to trust the legal immigration system again. And that's what the Biden administration is promising us. So we're going to hold them to it. So I have, hey, white man, happy Sunday too. So I have another question from, what is the possible outcome of my case? The status change interview went well without glitches and was given some set declaration to sign with my initials, declaration like I won't hurt America, I won't get involved in drugs, etc. I was given a white paper so that I should bring the original copy of my spouse's birth certificate. Toyin Ogundikpe, I assume what you're saying is that you've had an interview and that it went, they asked you to sign a declaration. Well, I have to get more information from you. I can't tell you what the possible outcome of your case without knowing exactly what was said to you and how the interview went, okay? So if I were to make a guess, that's really not helpful to you, okay? So if you want to get more information on that, you can call my office, or you can just keep checking the case status online to see what's going on with your case, okay? White Man Shore says, please, what is the hope of VAWA? The hope of VAWA, I think I made a video about that, is I've always seen VAWA to be it's a humanitarian pathway to a green card, and it has less requirements than other filings by a U.S. citizen, right? And that's why I feel that VAWA gives people hope, because VAWA doesn't require certain things that would be required if your spouse were to file for you, right? VAWA doesn't require that your spouse be involved, period. And if your spouse is not involved, VAWA doesn't require that your spouse be making a certain amount of money to be able to file for you. Now, if you have a spouse who's a U.S. citizen or green card holder and they're filing for you, you know that they do have to file the affidavit of support, which requires them to make a certain amount of money. So with VAWA, that's not required, okay? And why VAWA is so great is because your spouse doesn't even need to know that you're filing under VAWA. So for those people who are not able to leave the relationship for many reasons, they can stay in their relationship and they can file VAWA and they can get their green card, and their spouse does not need to know. And if at the time, and the thing about filing VAWA within a couple of months, if your case is well documented, you get a prima facie determination, which allows you to access public benefits. And that, for a lot of women or men, is the difference between staying in the marriage or leaving the marriage, because with the public benefits, they're able to get Medicare, they're able to get the financial support that they need to leave a bad relationship, okay? And what else do I say the VAWA is full of hope? It is because for somebody who is in an abusive relationship, their power is taken away by that relationship, and VAWA gives that back to them, because you're able to do a lot of things on your own without your spouse being involved, without anybody really being involved except your lawyer and the information that your lawyer asks you to provide to prove your VAWA case. And so, VAWA was authored, the law of violence against women came into being in 1994, and it was actually President Biden that was was the name behind that policy, the VAWA law. So they recognize the fact that a lot of, if you're in an abusive relationship, it's kind of, it doesn't make sense that you be asking the person who's abusing you to also file papers for you. They recognize that it puts the recipient in a very vulnerable position. So recognizing that, VAWA gives you, the power of being able to it's called a self-petition, which means you don't need a U.S. citizen or green card holder to file for you. You are going to petition yourself by virtue of being married to a U.S. citizen or green card holder, or having and being abused by them, or having a child who is abused by a U.S. citizen or green card holder, even if the parent is not abused, or if you're a parent of a U.S. citizen who's 21 and above, you can also file for VAWA. We don't like to talk about abuse of parents by their children, but it does happen. So if you know someone who is in that situation, you want to tell them that there's help, and like I said, it's secret. Your spouse will not know about it. Your 21-year-plus child will not know that you filed VAWA, okay? So the thing is, VAWA and the I-751 waiver of abuse, they're similar in the sense that you're getting your papers without the support of a spouse, and you're doing it on your own just by proving a bona fide marriage and showing the abuse that you've suffered. All right. So let's look at the next question. So Valmero Ifeanyi says it has to be more than a year since I went for an interview. Since then, I haven't gotten a feedback from USCIS. I have called so many times, no good response. Then still on process. Please, what should I do next? So, Valmero Ifeanyi, that's a really good question. Sometimes, I have to tell you that sometimes when USCIS has not given you any response on an interview, it's because there's something about that case that they're taking a second look at, okay? Sometimes it could just be that, the processing times have taken longer. I mean, it could be. So I can't really tell you what the situation is with your case, but if you call my office and, let's talk about what went down in the interview and all that, and I could give you a better idea. But I know that if a case has been on for a long time, sometimes they're intending to deny that case for some reason. But sometimes it's a case that just they didn't get to because somebody put it away, and we have a way of, we contact them. We have a way of following up on those kind of cases to make sure that, to bring back the USCIS attention to those cases, okay? Because if you've gone for an interview, you do need to know what's going on your case, all right? So White Man Shaw asks, what happened when VAWA is pending for 4 years? They send prima facie every year and they renewed work authorization. Well, it's, sometimes that's what happens. You get the prima facie every year, you get your work authorization until they make a decision. It is what it is. But like I said, the Biden administration has assured us that part of their agenda is to make sure that things are moving faster, because, the delay and, in the past 4 years has been really crazy. So the Biden administration, in the executive order that they signed on the 2nd of February, has, asked all these agencies to look into the processes that are causing the delays so that they can work on, removing them and making sure that people are getting their immigration benefits as soon as possible. All right, let's see. Anything else? Hi, Laverne, how are you? So, all right, I think that's it, but it's been nice hanging out with you guys. Can you see all that snow? Here, look. And we're going to look for someone to plow us out, but we're going to go eat now. So take care, everyone. It's been lovely hanging out with you guys this fine Sunday, and be safe, all right?